Las Vegas, Nevada, welcome to the swimming pool. All right, let's jump right into this one. Thanks for being with me today. I hope you guys are all doing great. Absolutely an honor and a privilege to be with you. So today we're going to take a look at a listing in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, a lot of you know Las Vegas, Nevada in the 2008 crash pretty much was one of the hot spots in terms of going down and going down hard. Now, logic would tell you that it's probably going to happen again. Today, we're going to probably drive our point home a little more with the listing that we're going to look at, but I really like to read between the lines and look between the cracks of these listings. You see, as a real estate professional myself, somebody who lived through the 2008 financial crash and crisis, and even suffered a little of its blowback as a bill-paying adult, that weathered this storm with other good real estate, which I still own today, and who's helped hundreds of clients buy and sell real estate, I really am interested in this. And, you know, one of the things, and if you're new, welcome. One of the things is, as an active real estate agent, I was just operating my life like many of you when this crisis came along and realtors were deemed essential workers. And in that low interest rate environment with very little inventory, the upward pressure was unlike anything we've seen before. So my response typically to other agents that told me, oh, well, this time is different than 2008, my comeback was typically, you're right, it is different. It's worse. Bigger bubble potential, bigger blowback. So anybody saying zero crash risk here, clearly out of touch with reality, because anytime the housing market exhibits bubble behavior, it's going to come with some crash risk. But this is what we're seeing now, and this property is going to drive point home beautifully, is we've definitely hit a ceiling. It can't tolerate any more growth, as clearly inflation has kicked in, and wages haven't even come close to the rate of inflation. So there's only really one thing I believe that needs to happen at this point. And it's really never been kind of a question of if, it's always been when we'll get a recession, because we've always had recessions. They're not fun, they're painful, but they're necessary. My bigger concern is really the economic depression that we haven't seen in 100 years. So none of us have firsthand experience as a bill-paying adult going through a depression. Maybe we've heard from our parents, some of our parents that are older. They were depression babies, actually. So they really didn't even have firsthand experience as a bill-paying adult in a depression era. But there's three levels of an economic downturn: a correction, which we're in now, as we see prices no longer going up, in fact, going down in many states, in fact, Nevada, which we're going to look at here in a moment, and a dozen others, and others joining the party as we speak. If we can't stop it there at a correction level of a downturn, we will hit recessionary levels of a downturn. If we can't stop it there, the dreaded depression will kick in. And throughout recorded history, depressions have cycled approximately every 80 to 100 years. So we're in the depression cycle mathematically. So anybody that doesn't, you got to acknowledge that, right? Like I said, we got to keep our thumb on the pulse, read between the lines, look between the cracks, and understand the waters we're swimming in. We'll be much more prepared to handle it if and when it plays out, having heard these messages. It's better to be prepared for something and have it not happen than have something happen and not be prepared. But so one of the things I think that's also different with this bubble, Vegas, I think, is an extreme crash risk. We've had a lot of other areas that Florida's, the Texas's, Arizona's, they're exhibiting a lot of crash behavior as well. I mean, the reality is this. I mean, like I said, it was a stimulus era. It was mismanagement of stimulus. As we kick the can too far down the road, we let interest rates remain too low. I could see maybe stimulating it temporarily, but whoever is in leadership should have said, whoa, slow down. We got to raise rates. Now the housing market's starting to overheat. They didn't. They let it keep going. People were asleep at the wheel. I don't know what was going, but it was gross mismanagement. So I don't really blame my industry. I don't blame anything. My job's really to protect clients. Happy clients are repeat clients. And I've always been a straight shooter. And I don't rely purely on commissions to pay my bills. So it allows me a little bit of freedom to come in here and give you some straight talk. I love working with clients. I love people. That's what makes me a natural salesman. Most people hate sales. I love sales. Now, I've hated sales in the past because I didn't believe in the product or service I was selling. And I think that's kind of what happened to me here with real estate. Well, I didn't necessarily hate it because, I mean, listen, there's no higher pinnacle in sales than real estate. I mean, and the sky is the limit. You can earn a lot of money in real estate. Unfortunately, you got to be ready for your income to go up and down along with the economy. So if you're basing your cost of living on a euphoric part of the economy. A cycle in real estate, like, this crisis era, which many new agents came in and based their cost of living. They went and bought houses themselves, turned in 2 years of tax returns of great income. But now their income is changing. They can't refinance their house. They're hanging on by their fingernails themselves. Agents are dropping like flies. And so that's just the realities of the game. This is one big jacked up game that we're all living in. So my job, your job, is really to be awake right now, to understand the waters we're swimming in, to expect the unexpected, to keep our thumb on the pulse of the U.S. housing market, the biggest asset class on planet Earth, to read between the lines and look between the cracks of it. Because if we lose it, we will lose everything. Even if one city like Vegas, which could be the first city, it's really which dominoes are going to fall first in which city. We see them starting to fall, but there's a really weird anomaly happening right now in real estate. I call it euphoric recall. Many sellers still have this idea that somehow their house is special, that they can still get top dollar. There's no more bidding wars. There's no more over asking price offers. There's no more waiving of contingencies. There's no more waiving of inspections to speak of, unless you get really aggressive in your pricing. There's only one thing that fixes a house to get it off the market quick, and that's price. And that's why you hear me preach a lot. Anytime I'm taking somebody in market, my advice is, let's find out who our competition is, run the comps, and beat them. That is the only way in this environment to get people over to your property. If you come on the market along with everybody else, how many people in this environment are going to race over to see a house priced at the top of the market, especially when it's reversing course? So today, to drive our point home, let's jump over to Las Vegas, Nevada, take a look at what's going on over there. Then we'll meet back here, wrap it up. Let's get started. Hey friends, buckle up, strap in, roll up your windows, lock your doors. We're heading into Sin City, lost wages, Las Vegas, Nevada. Unfortunately, it's not all rainbows and sunshine anymore. They overheated their housing market once again, and now it's teetering on the razor's edge. Coupled with a lot of things going on with squatters. We've got squatters all over the city moving into vacant homes, homeowners trying to get them out. Everything's going sideways. Let's go ahead and jump over and take a look at a local listing and see what's going on there. Let's bring up today's crash map, courtesy of our good fuzzy friends and failed iBuyers over at Zillow. Everything on your screen is in fact going through the kiss of death. Price reductions, stuck on the market, chasing the market. Over 2,500 homes currently as we speak. Let's tour today's featured listing, and here we go. A Las Vegas home. Looks okay so far. Not so fast. Head back to the car. It looks like we have a little disaster on our hands. It appears that our sellers aren't really that serious about getting sold. Clearly, somebody's not serious. I don't know if we have squatters. I don't know if we have renters. I don't know who's in here. But if it's the owner, shame on you. You guys better have priced right. Let's go ahead and take a look. This Las Vegas disaster sits stuck on the market at $455,000. Let's go ahead and dig a little deeper and see if this is realistic or out of touch with reality. Read between the lines and look between the cracks of our property description. Bring your vision and creativity to this spacious 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home, ready for its transformation. Well, it needs more than a transformation, that's for sure. It definitely needs help. I'm sure they priced it right though, right? Well, not so fast. Let's keep digging. Little Las Vegas disaster has been sitting on the market for 62 days apparently, with a whopping 15 saves. That is little to no interest. If you are priced right, you are definitely getting more than 15 saves. Always be on the lookout for that. Let's keep looking. If we were silly enough, which we're not, to give them their stuck on the market price of $455,000, at today's interest rate with the standard amount down, our approximate cost to carry would be around $2,500 a month to catch this potential falling knife of a property. Would it rent for that? I doubt it, but let's keep looking. According to Zillow, they're saying if you were to offer $440,000, you'd have a 90% chance of a winning offer. Nobody wins with this property, Zillow, and you're not taking into account that this property shows horrible. This property started its journey at $472,500, way above the upper range of its price range. Even now, stuck on the market at $455,000, they're still in its mid-range value. Only a property that shows perfectly should even be close to this. Clearly, our property does not. We've got a big problem in Las Vegas. Let's jump back to the studio and wrap this one up. All right, friends, welcome back. And there you go. Perfect example. This house, first of all, my challenge with this house, and I feel sorry for the sellers because my belief is agents are hurting right now for listings. And when you're a real estate agent, you prefer to be a listing agent, a selling agent, than a buyer's agent. Because if you got the listing, everybody's coming to you. Get your pictures done, get it posted on the MLS, throw your open houses, and collect offers and present them to the seller. Now, for me, if I'd looked at this house, my first words out of my mouth would be first, all right, we ran the comps, which I'm sure this agent did, found out its fair market value, and they came on at the top of its value range. But here was the challenge, and you guys saw it. It didn't show well. And there's only one thing that'll fix a house that doesn't show well: price. People sometimes can look around your mess if you're priced right. Typically an investor. Most first-time home buyers, they fall in love with model homes. That's why these home developers, the Lennars, the KBs, all these guys, they build model homes. And this was probably a model home tract back when it was built too. And they stage them to perfection. When I'm touring people through a house like that, even for me, back when I remember buying houses and I would go tour houses, I felt like I was invading somebody's privacy. I felt like a visitor in somebody's home. I couldn't picture myself in somebody's home and all their personal effects were all over the place. These people clearly weren't serious about selling their home. They might have been renters. My guess is this might have been renters, because typically when I see a house like this that shows like that, it's because it's a rental and the tenants are about to lose their property. What motivation do they have? And then the owner, instead of getting them out, they left them in and still came on the market at top value. You really needed, I would rather an empty house, unstaged, paint it, get the carpets clean, get it on the market, let people breeze through. I always tell people when they get into real estate, based on my experience, I say I've just learned so much. I'm trained in the psychology of people and the psychology of sales. I've talked my way out of more sales than I've talked my way into. And I've worked with agents before. Oh, this house, and oh, yeah, just shut up. You're a tour guide. Let me tour the home. If I have questions, I will ask you. When they start overselling, great neighborhood, great good, there's this and that, and premium lot, and this and that. Look at the place. It shows like a dump. In fact, Las Vegas, when we opened up, segueing into the listing, I have a problem with squatters. Now, I don't think this was squatters living in this house. Possibly tenants no longer paying the rent, because clearly, if you were selling your home, wouldn't you? I always tell you, hey, first of all, let's tour your home. Listen, we need to neutralize the home. We need to get all your personal. We get stuff off the walls, stuff off the countertops. I don't want to see any pictures of you, your family, your dog. I don't want to see nothing. I don't want to see anything. If you're not willing to do that, which I understand, let's say for all intents and purposes, for the sake of this video, that was owner occupied, right? There's only one thing that's going to fix your house, ma'am or sir. It's price. We're going to have to price super aggressive. Number two, the cost to carry the property. At today's interest rate with a standard amount down, where they were priced at was approximately $2,500 a month. I'm not sure that property would rent. For me, my cost to carry would have to be maybe $1,900 a month. For me, if I could rent the house for $2,500 to buy it, even to live in, I want my payment under its rent range. And that's another thing, agents in Las Vegas and everywhere in America, you have to understand right now. To get a house sold, you're going to have to make sure the cost to carry with a standard amount down at today's interest rate makes it at least the same cost it would be to rent it minus your down payment, or under it where it could actually cash flow. Otherwise, people just aren't interested. This thing was on the market for over 2 months with 16 saves. That's little to no interest. In the height, like I said, euphoric recall is what they have over here. That would have been 1,600 saves. Look, it could have shown worse than the way it showed. And it would have sold in a day or two. And final thoughts that come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a real estate guy that wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life. Understand the waters you're swimming in now. They're shark-infested Las Vegas, America. Welcome to the swimming pool. We overheated the biggest asset class on planet Earth. It couldn't tolerate overnight appreciation and never seen before highs with no organic growth, market manipulation. That's what we experienced. Anybody saying no crash risk here, run. Don't walk, run as fast as you can. They're out of touch with reality. I've seen this movie before in 2008. Agents tried to say the same thing. Oh, we're in a lull or whatever. As soon as the Fed drops the rate, buyers are coming back. It's going to take a miracle to save the biggest artificially induced housing bubble ever witnessed in human history with no organic growth. Those are the realities. I want you to get an agent right now. Kick the tires, shake the trees, throw some offers, but make sure it puts your payment within the property's rent range. Otherwise, I'm going to be here to blow the lid off it every step of the way because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media link in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there. Simply search up Scott Walters Real Estate on Instagram. If you need help buying or selling real estate here in America, I have the biggest network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. It'd be our honor and our privilege to do so. Email in the description for you as well. If you're watching from your television set today and you enjoyed this video, you're going to love the next video. And there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today. God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.